I want to first congratulate you on taking the chance and taking the leap and investing your time and your money in yourself and your future and registering for the entire experience of Onward Bold. So I want to start there and just congratulate you on taking that step. The purpose of this video is to get you as uber prepared for step one and really the entirety of the Onward Bold experience as possible so that you can get the greatest return possible on that investment of time and money. Because you could either show up and sell some extra houses or you can sell all the extra houses. You can create one or two new habits by accident, or you can create three or four great habits on purpose, right? I want to make sure that you get the best return as possible. So, what I'd like to do right now is I want to talk a little bit about goal setting and specifically also goal getting. And just this idea of chunking things down so that we can do the big things that we desire in our life. And that happens when we hit small goals on a regular basis. And in order to talk about how to win in bold, what we've got to do is kind of look at the foundation of proper goal setting in the first place, which really we call goal setting to the now. And goal setting to the now is taught in the One Thing book that you may or may not have read. One Thing is a great book to read, by the way, if you haven't. And yet I'll just kind of explain it in the simplest terms as I can in the interest of time in this video. So goal setting to the now is taking the idea of the things that we dream of, like our big someday goal, as we call them, and really chunking them down so we can make them into a reality. Because the difference between you and someone who you know who seems to have it all is simply that they started one day at a time, right? So the idea is that you start with your someday goal and or goals, right? Like what are the biggest things? What are the defining things that you're looking to achieve in your life? We want to figure that out first. Now, for most of you watching this, you have a decent idea of what they are. You might have just never put them down on paper. So the first thing we're going to want to do is really figure out and get some clarity on what our most important goals, business or personal, are that we're working towards at some point in our life. And the idea is that we chunk it back in pieces of time, right? So from a someday goal, you would go to a 5 year goal. So in other words, where do I need to be in 5 years so that I am on track to achieve that someday goal or those someday goals? From there, you come to a year. Where do I need to be a year from today in order to achieve my 5 year goals so I can achieve my someday goals? Now, what I will say is for the purpose of our time right now and this bold, I would really, really think in the current year that you're in, right? What is my goal for this year, even though it's not a full 12 months at this point, right? Like, where do I need to be by the end of the year to be on track for the 5 year, to be on track for the someday? Okay. And then you're going to chunk it down by the month and by the week. It is the same thing. Where do I need to be in a month so I'm on track for my year, my 5 year, my someday? Where do I need to be in a week so that I'm on track for my month, my year, my 5 year, my someday? And then from there, if we're just talking about goal setting to the now, you would have a daily goal and even a right now goal. And the beautiful thing about that right now goal, which might seem almost kind of silly, it's really, really helpful when you have that feeling of not knowing what you should be doing, right? When you have clarity on all of these upper goals and it's just a random Tuesday at 2 p.m. and you're sitting there like, oh, I don't know what I should be doing right now. What is the one thing I should be doing right now so that I am on track for today's goal, so that I am on track for my week goal and my month goal and my year goal and my 5 year and my someday, right? It's a great, great way because your brain always knows the right thing you should be doing. Sometimes you just need to look at it that way. All right. So again, goal setting to the now is someday, 5 year, 1 year, month, week, day, right now. Okay. The idea of chunking down so we can make big goals simple. Okay. Now, I want you to look at it slightly differently for the purpose of the bold that we have coming up. Because between the time that you're watching this video and the last step of bold, we have roughly 2 months to play with, okay? Which can either be a really long amount of time or no time at all. So, what I would like you to do before you set foot in the room for step one of bold is I want you to get real clear on what it is that you're looking to achieve by the end of this bold, knowing that you can probably get a lot done. You can probably take a massive leap towards your yearly goal and therefore your 5 year goal and your someday goal because the environment of Onward Bold is very conducive to doing bigger things than you would do if you were not in a coaching environment. Okay. So, and I'd like to challenge you to think of things that are both business and personal. Okay. Now, when we look at business, right? You're going to really be focused on filling your pipeline, right? Because while you're lead generating like an animal during bold, you don't get paid the next day. Y'all know that. You're not brand new, or if you are brand new, congratulations, right? We don't get paid immediately in real estate. So you're really filling your pipeline. So rather than focus on how many closings you'd like to have during bold, it could be closings because of bold, aka how many units I'm looking to put under contract while I'm in bold. I think an even better measurable might be a number of listings taken and or number of buyer agreements signed. Those are the things that get you paid in 30, 60, 90 days, right? And if in a normal 2 month period, let's look at listings, right? Because listings kind of rule the roost. If you're in a normal 60-day period and you might take one listing or two listings or 10 listings or 20 listings, whatever the number is, I'm going to ask that you amp it up. You signed up for a course to do more, not the same, right? So come up with some goals that you would like to achieve while you're in the bold room. Now, that's business. That's probably easy. I'd love for you to look at your personal life, your personal world. What goals do you have for while you're in the bold room with us? I've seen magical things happen during bold, and I don't mean to be heavy. I'm just going to tell you, I have seen people save their marriages during bold because they were not in a great place and they took seriously the task of repairing a relationship or fixing the lines of communication. I have seen people quit smoking during a bold and never pick up a cigarette again. I have seen people lose a certain amount of weight during bold. I've seen people create amazing habits during bold. So whatever it is that might be holding you back or taking some of your joy opportunity in your personal world, I would really consider setting some goals there. And should you have more than one? I don't know. Maybe. Should you have 100 of them? Well, no, because frankly, you won't be able to focus on that many things. I don't think you should have more than three major business goals and three major personal goals. And if it's less than three, that's fine. You know what's going to impact you at the highest level. Something else to consider, and I already mentioned the word habit earlier. I've had a lot of people have great success with start stop lists while they're in the bold room. We know, going back to the one thing, we know that on average, it takes about 66 days to create a new habit. And the beautiful thing about creating a new habit, especially if it's a great habit, is it can impact you for a long time. What I think we tend to forget, though, is that we can also get rid of habits that no longer serve us. Just to create new ones is wonderful. And yet, what if we got rid of some of the things that don't serve us? So the idea of a start stop list is that, right? What are some of the things in my business and in my personal world that I've been putting off that I really need to start doing? Lead generating consistently, role play, practice. I've been waiting to start that farm. It's time to do it. I've really been looking to get into coaching. It's time to do that. Like whatever it is, right? What are some of the things that you're looking to start? Same thing in your personal world. Okay. Is it start going to the gym? Is it start tracking the food? Is it start spending more time with my children, with my spouse, whatever it is, right? Those are all great. What are some of the things that you should work on stopping while you're in Onward Bold, right? What is it that it's time for me to stop? What habits in my business and in my personal world are no longer serving me? The great news is being in an environment that is all around positivity and growth and mindset and doing the things that we know make us successful, you can make massive change in your life. And I look back at who I was when I walked into my first bold room as a student in 2014, and who I was when I graduated my 15th bold 5 years later. It's literally not even the same person. The things that I was able to start and stop, the goals that I was able to hit, goals that I couldn't even have dreamt of before I stepped in that room. Like it's massively huge. So What I want you to do after this video is take some time, put some thoughts on paper or electronic paper. It doesn't matter to me, right? What are my main goals for while I'm in bold? And they should be serving and taking you closer to that 1 year goal, your 5 year goal, and your someday goal. Make sure they're incongruent so you can get where you desire to go as quickly as possible. Because as Gary reminds us, and as I have lived personally, you are never more than 5 years away from a completely different life. All right. And I want you to think specifically for bold. What am I going to start doing? Y'all know what it needs to be, right? It's now just getting intentional. What am I going to stop doing? And what I'll challenge you right now on is once you have some of those thoughts, I would love for you to email them to me. I would love to see what those goals are, what's important to you. I know statistically, not all of you are going to reach out, and that's no judgment if that's you, all right? It's no judgment. And for those of you that do reach out, trust me, I take accountability seriously. I love what I do. I love impacting people through the bold products. And I will help you stay more accountable to your goals if you share what they are to me. So again, your challenge is set the goals, go all the way up to someday and work back. Make sure that you set specific goals for while you in bold, knowing that you could do way more than you thought before you started this video. So pump it up and go big and create that start stop list. What are the things I'm going to start? What are the things I'm going to stop? And share as much of that as you're willing. What I can promise you, because some of those things are going to be personal, and I know that it will be between me and you. That is it, period, end of story. So just know that I'm not going to share it with anybody, and I will be a resource for both knowledge and accountability so that you can get to those goals. So I appreciate you. I cannot wait to meet you in person in just a short amount of time, and you are going to change your life. And I get to be a part of it, and I'm grateful for that. Take care.